If you can't make it to Broadway, we're bringing Broadway to you each and every week, right here on The Broadway Show. I'm Tamsen Fadal. I'm so glad you're joining us. Oh, Mary is Broadway's reigning queen of comedy, now featuring a new Mary Todd, the amazing and hilarious Jane Krakowski. Let's send it out to Paul Wontorek.
Jane, welcome back to Broadway. You're in Oh, Mary, one of the biggest hits on Broadway. How does that feel?
Amazing, thrilling. I've loved the show from the minute I saw it downtown, and secretly, I'm going to admit, while I was in my chair downtown, watching it for the first time and watching Cole up there, I was like, I
want to do that.
That's a great part.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that.
So for it to come through to fruition is kind of an amazing thing.
Yeah. A lot of people know you for your TV credits, right? Ally McBeal, 30 Rock, Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt, obviously great TV work. Name that tune. But real Broadway fans, you're a real Broadway baby, and you've done so much on these blocks. So today I want to sort of take you on a little tour of your resume. Are you ready for that?
I love that. I never would have thought to do that, and now that you brought it up, it seems like I've played at a bunch of theaters on Broadway.
Paul took a walk through the theater district with Jane to revisit the homes of some of her greatest Broadway roles, like her Tony-winning performance in 9, and one of her favorite musicals, She Loves Me, alongside friend and co-star, the late Gavin Creel.
So here we are on West 54th Street. There's Studio 54. You worked there in a really, really, really lovely revival of She Loves Me, which is sort of like one of those like jewel box musicals that I feel like real musical theater people really like cherish, right?
Yeah, and one of my favorite things I've been a part of. The part is so delicious. Getting to work with Gavin is one of the, greatest experiences I've had, and creating that number together was with Warren Carlyle and Gavin and myself, and making it our own, and just was one of those creative few days in the rehearsal hall that you remember forever, because it made it so unique and ours, and it really just came out of us organically talking about, or making jokes. Like, I jumped into a split that day as a joke just to make everybody laugh, and then they were like, wait a minute, let's
doing that every night.
Yeah, and then that's the first thing Gavin said to me, the sweetest man in the world, right? He said, are you sure you want to do that 8 times a week?
Right.
And I heard the applause in my head and said, yes!
And one more note, Jane Krakowski and her co-stars have extended their run in Oh, Mary, now through January the 4th.
Mary is vile in a lot of ways, and you're such a lovely, I've seen you do all kinds of things over the years, but Mary is really all out. Like what is it?
Unhinged, all out,
all those,
explosive,
yeah,
all those
exactly.
quotes that are up there.
Is that the kind of role you're looking for these days?
It's so fun.
Yeah.
I've been very lucky to work on amazing comedies and to love the show from seeing it, but then actually sitting with the script and working on it. It is an incredibly structured, perfect comedy and a great comedic role.
Check out Paul's Walk and Talk with Jane over at Broadway.com. The highly anticipated revival of Ragtime is now open at Lincoln Center, starring Caissie Levy, Joshua Henry, Brandon Uranowitz, Nichelle Lewis, and more.
I love everything about Ragtime. I think everyone just feels so hopeful, and but also all of the heaviness that comes with it, and it kind of also has that thing where everyone's coming together, all the different groups of people. It's just it's incredible.
When I saw it as a kid, I was like, I want to do that. So to know that young people are going to come and see this show, and it might be their first introduction to Broadway, it might be their first introduction to musicals, and it might also be their first introduction to the way theater can impact us, on a very cellular level in our lives.
This is big singing, and so I love that I get to use this side of my voice as the deep baritone part of my voice. I love that.
The thing that I'm so amazed by with this show is it's the seamlessness with which it can pan out and give you such universal human condition perspectives, and then zoom in and give you something super specific and heart-wrenching and heartbreaking about one person's story. But we're constantly panning in and out, and I think it's sort of in that specificity and in that universality that people feel.
One of the biggest Broadway stories of the past year is still the $10 founding father, Hamilton. It's been on Broadway for a decade and counting. And now one of that show's iconic producers is out with a new memoir. I had a chance to chat with Jeffrey Seller. Congratulations on the book and on so many other things.
Thank you so much.
I want to hear more about Theater Kid and everything that brought you here, because I know it's not easy to write a book. I know it's not easy to dig deep of where it all comes from, but I'm curious the why behind it. What made you decide this was the time?
How does a poor, gay, adopted kid who feels like an outsider get from this crummy neighborhood outside Detroit, Michigan called Cardboard Village, because the houses are made of cardboard instead of bricks, to Broadway, to Rent, to Avenue Q, and in the Heights and Hamilton? I wasn't even sure myself how that was possible.
Talk about Rent and just those moments, if you look back at that now. There are risks that we take in life that we just, don't know how things are going to be. Like, how's it going to go? Everything you do, I guess, is a risk. You don't know. You're sitting there with the audience for the first time wondering, or do you always know? Do you feel
I never know.
Okay.
I only know what I feel. I only know when the hair on my back starts standing up from the tingling of that amazing melody that is causing this physical, visceral response from me. And then I hope that other people will feel it too. Jonathan's vision was, I am going to revolutionize the American musical. I am the future of Broadway, because I want to write stories about today, about my people, my friends, in a musical vernacular that you could hear on the radio right now. And then Lynn comes, and by the way, Lynn sees Rent as a high school student at Hunter High School, brings his girlfriend, sits in the balcony, $35, and looks at that stage and says, I can make a musical about my people, about my neighborhood, with the musical vernacular of my streets, and we get the first hip-hop musical. We get the first salsa merengue musical, and we see Lynn's maturation from In the Heights to the triumph of Hamilton.
What do you think that theater kid would say today, looking at this?
You know why I did that book? For anyone who's ever felt out. For anyone who has felt outside, not regarded, not invited to the party. And that book is ultimately about how a young kid, me, who felt like an outsider, ultimately felt like I could be an insider inside of me. And I wanted to buoy the spirits of anyone who's ever felt like that and say, we all feel it. But then we go to the theater and it makes us feel like we're in.
Since you've been gone, I can't breathe for the first time.
And Juliet continues to roar on Broadway. The Shakespearean pop concert sensation is headed all across the country. We got a behind-the-scenes look at life on the road and life backstage with the actress who plays Juliet in the North American tour.
Hey y'all, this is Fabiola Caraballo Quijada coming to you live from my dressing room at my debut performance of And Juliet the Musical. I'm here in Sacramento, California. Come with me as we tour this backstage and you get ready with me into all my stuff so I can become Juliet.
1, 2, 3, happy opening!
Hey, let's go get our microphones on so we can do some sound checking. Sound check. Here we go. Light call.
Going out.
So now we're gonna do our hair and makeup. So this is my first professional experience ever, but I really think that it was God doing all of his magic. I'm so excited to be setting foot on the stage. And what, 20 minutes? Vocal warm-ups before we go on stage. Yeah, oh, yeah.
At Juliet Company, this is your 5-minute call.
Oh! Yes! Juliet is ready to go! Let's make our way up to the stage. That's my cue. See y'all after bows.
Where am I? Where am I going? Is it somewhere that I want to go?
Romance and Rainfall are coming to a city near you. The Notebook, the musical, is on tour. And here's something we're really excited about. We're thrilled to exclusively share a brand new music video with you.
Sometimes I feel like I cry without a noise. Sometimes I feel like somebody chose my choice.
This is the song My Days, performed by Alicia Delorio, an amazing actress who's playing Middle Alley on the national tour. Alicia was seen most recently on Broadway and Hamilton. All the songs in the show, including this one, are written by multi-platinum musician Ingrid Michaelson.
That I'm proud of the way that I spent my days.
The Broadway musical and tour, directed by Michael Greif and Shelley Williams, with choreography by Katie Spellman. The Notebook is now on tour through summer 2026 and beyond, and you can check out our exclusive interviews with the touring company and watch the full music video for My Days over at Broadway.com.
But it's back, it's my sound. Sometimes I feel like I lost my only voice, but then I realize only I can choose my choice. I have to run away. I have to sit.
Liberation comes to Broadway this fall after a really popular off-Broadway run. The new play from Bess Wool explores the women's movement of the 70s and how it still resonates today.
I think it's a play for everyone. You know, I do think, we've had a lot of intergenerational people coming and saying, I want to come back with my mom, or I want to come back with my grandma or my daughter. But also, my dad came and he was like, do women really talk to each other like that? And I was like, yes, Dad, we do talk to each other like that, and so much more.
I want to see men in the audience. Like, obviously, there are going to be women, but I feel like men keep missing the memo. I feel like there's a memo circulating, and it's like getting to them, and it just drops out of their hands. So I want men in the audience.
I think people might have an idea that the play is really serious because of its topic, but it's a comedy. We're meant to also to experience pleasure while wrestling with these thorny topics that are at the center of existence, and not just for women, for all people.
The Cold War musical Chess is back on Broadway with a brand new rewrite and all the catchy songs. Plus, it's another one loaded with star power: Leah Michele, Aaron Tveit, and Nicholas Christopher. Here's Beth Stevens with another edition of Building Broadway.
Tell me what drew you to chess and made you want to take on this revival?
I was listening to Spotify Daily Mix, perhaps number 3. It was all like Les Mis and Jesus Christ Superstar and Hamilton, Spring Awakening, and chess. And every time a chess song came on, I just would get this sort of dopamine kick of like, chess is so cool. And then I started thinking, what's the deal with chess? I know it doesn't work. I don't really know why, because I've actually never seen a production of it, because very few people have. So I looked online and there was the Idina Menzel, Josh Groban chess in concert at Royal Albert Hall. And so I watched it. And as I was watching it, I started thinking, my rewrite brain started kind of clicking in. And I had this very delusional thought, which was, maybe I could fix this. And one of my main concepts was I wanted to infuse Cold War, true life Cold War plot lines into the show. So that you had the love story, you had the chess matches, and then you had a much richer Cold War story that's flicked at in the lyrics, but it's not fully realized. And I felt that by doing that, it would give it sort of a much grander scope, a bird's eye view scope of this, wildly important era of world history. And then, more simplistically, it would raise the stakes for the characters.
One night in Bangkok and the world's your oyster. The bars are temples, but the pearls ain't free.
So Michael, when people talk about chess, they talk about the score and how much they love it, and these songs are known outside the theater world.
For sure.
They're
iconic.
And you have Aaron Tveit and Nicholas Christopher and Leah Michele. What did these stars bring to the roles that surprised you, or maybe illuminated something about the characters for you guys?
Well, first of all, they have to sing the out of it. This is not an easy score. I mean, we really needed great singers and also great actors. It's very hard to find people who can handle the demands of the score. The range is unbelievable. And the sing for each one of those three is a real challenge because it has to use every part of their voice. So they can't live in one place all night. They've got to really jump around a lot.
Let's hear it for New York all across the country. Hell's Kitchen is coming soon to a city near you. Of course, featuring the hit songs of Alicia Keys, we got to know the stars of the national tour.
It means everything. I was just thinking about how I feel like it's crazy because I feel that I'm a part of something that is so much bigger than me, and to just be one of the people out of many in this production, in this specific show, and just I feel so grateful, and just the fact that I obviously have wanted this for a really long time, but the fact that it's here and the fact that I'm doing it and at such a young age, I didn't think that it would happen this early for me. So just all of those contributing factors make it so crazy, and I'm so grateful, and I'm so excited for people to see it, and I just cannot wait. It's gonna be so much fun. Just the thought of somebody seeing the show or seeing me and being like, that's what I want to do, or like, I really like that role. It's just the fact that I could be that kind of figure in somebody's life is really insane and just feels so special. And I just really hope that, if that does happen, that I can cherish that moment. And it's really surreal.
The circus is coming to town. We're talking about Water for Elephants, the musical. It's bringing the big top to you. Based on the best-selling novel and hit film, we got to know the stars of the national tour.
You didn't just jump any old train, son. Welcome to the circus. It's been really exciting putting together Water for Elephants because it's a very unique show. It has the full music, dancing, really beautiful storytelling that you hope a musical will have. It also has all of the acrobatic and circus elements. Really, whatever you come to see a Broadway musical for and more, you will find in Water for Elephants.
There's such a combination of different types of music and different styles. There's pop music, there's kind of more the bluegrass kind of vibe. So that's been a lot of fun, and having like the music team there with us, have them sort of craft it to you and your specific voice is really nice.
Oh my God, I just can't believe that it's been turned into this gorgeous stage show with all these elements that are making it into something that you've never seen before, with everything from acrobats to dancers. It's amazing. It's stunning.
And that's going to do it for us. But for tickets, or if you want to see extended cuts of all these interviews, head over to Broadway.com. And be sure to check out The Broadway Show Uncut wherever you get your podcasts. I'm Tamsen Fadal, and this is The Broadway Show.